I'm very, and I'm a wife and I'm a mother of two. Okay, so you know a little bit about me. Anyway, the reason I want to talk today is my story is because it was very similar to a surrounding like this. A couple of years ago, our United Way rep came and started talking about, you know, our donations for the year. And I was the manager of the branch at that time out in Tecumseh, and I was sitting there, and I won't lie, I was sitting there kind of, you know, listening, but I was thinking about all what I had to do that day. And I really wasn't, you know, the demands of the day were on me, and that's really where my heart was. But I listened, and I knew I gave a little bit to United Way, but I really, you know, felt like I really gave to my, you know, my local church. I sponsored a couple kids, you know, in a third world country, so I really felt like I was doing my fair share. I really felt like I was taking care of things. And so it was kind of put on my heart that maybe I didn't need to give any more money, but maybe I needed to donate some time. So what I did is I thought it would be a really good team builder. Through the United Way, they have what you call Days of Caring, and your group can go out and they'll arrange it, and you go out into your community and you can do something, you know, to kind of, you know, give back. So that's what we did. We went to the soup kitchen. A very similar day like today. It was pouring rain, it was miserable, the weather had changed. It was one of those horizontal rain days where no matter what you did, you were going to get wet, okay? And what the Salvation Army has is a soup kitchen which literally does the overflow for the folks that didn't get in to have a meal, okay? And so we were there to serve soup, and basically that was about it. And I figured I could do that. I could manage pouring some soup into some bowls, right? So I was immediately, they realized that I wasn't very good at that either. So they asked me to go out into the kitchen or out into the dining room and just talk to some folks and, you know, make them feel welcome. And so that's what I did. And when the woman asked me, there was this one woman, and her name was Mary, let's just say, and, you know, she looked at me, and, you know, and I could tell that she was down on her luck. And she smiled at me immediately when I told her I was from the Bank of Montreal. And she wanted to let me know that she had had a bank account since she was 13 when she had a paper route. And she went on and was telling me her story about just how life had treated her and how she needed to have this bowl of soup because otherwise today might not have been a day that would end with a meal. And I really started thinking. I won't say it didn't touch my heart because it did. And then from the corner of my eye, I noticed this gentleman who had walked in, and he had big, baggy coat on, and big, you know, one of those, you know, the pockets were rather large, and they had told us to keep bringing bread out. And I didn't understand at the time what they meant, but they said, as soon as the bread is low, bring out some more. And I said, okay, we'll do that. So everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing. And I noticed him take about this much bread, probably 8 or 9 slices. And he shoved them in his pocket. Well, I'm from a bank, and you don't steal, right? So immediately I kind of walked over to the person who was in charge, and I said, I just want to let you know that the gentleman just took a whole bunch of bread and put it in his pocket. She says to me, oh, please, don't worry about that. He's taking home breakfast for his kids tomorrow. And once again, I thought, oh my, I really don't know what's going on in my community. And I really started thinking about my donations to United Way and what they really meant. And what I saw was that United Way, okay, they're the ears and the eyes of our community. They're out there, and through those strategies you heard about, they're seeing where the needs are. And our donations are the hands and feet that get it done. Don't think your donations aren't going to things that are happening in your community. Not yesterday, but the day before, we went to the Sandwich Team Action Group. Where this is right on Peter Street by King and Queen. It's out on the West End. And where they're meeting is the needs of our teens in the community. They have a place to go, a safe place to go, where they're not on our streets. And I'll tell you, they're building a better community there, and it's through our donations, okay, in our community. And then there's places like something as simple as you think, well, I am not affected by that. I'm not affected by the homeless. Well, then there's our seniors. They're dealing with our seniors in senior centers and making sure, like you saw in the video, that our seniors' needs are being met. whether they're lonely or something is getting missed in our community, or as families, sometimes we're too busy and not seeing that maybe our seniors in our lives need some help. It's in the seniors. Right down to our bus patrol. I had no idea until I spoke with John that our bus patrol is covered. So when those kids are walking across the street, and I don't know about you, but I had to drop my kids off. I didn't get to make sure they got into school safely. It's folks like that that are, you know, making sure their hat's tied and making sure they're crossing the road safely. So our donations are locally helping our community. It's touching me right now because I'm now moved to downtown from Tecumseh. And there's not a day that I don't walk out of my branch that I'm not met by somebody asking me to help them out with a meal. And I'll be honest, I can't do it each and every time. I know I can't, all right? But what I know is that through my donations with United Way, that I'm meeting some of those needs in the community. And I can walk by, rest assured in my heart, that I am doing my fair share. So I encourage you, if you're giving, re-look at things and maybe you can give some more. If you're not giving, I'm encouraging you to look at maybe you can. And if for some reason financially you really can't, there's days of caring where you can get out in your community. I know this place would probably love to have some people who would donate their time. I know there's senior centers, and I know there's the Salvation Army and our food banks and St. Vincent de Paul. The list is endless that we're not being affected by United Way and these agencies that are getting some help from United Way. So I want to thank you for listening to me, and I want to thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you very much. So that's just one of the programs that's funded by the United Way. Actually, Janet touched on a number of those programs, but the food